Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Holl Drama Stories. Today we have a gripping movie that explores the delicate intricacies of a relationship. Our story begins with a man named Paul, who falls in love at first sight with a captivating woman renowned for her beauty. They decide to tie the knot, and Paul's friend Marilyn introduces him to her friend Nellie. Nellie and Paul connect instantly, and their love leads them to manage a hotel together. Nellie's beauty makes her popular among the guests, and they live a seemingly happy life with their son. However, an unexpected shift occurs when Paul starts displaying strange behavior. He begins talking to himself in the mirror, as if someone else is there with him. Concerned, Nellie realizes he is troubled about something. Paul confides in Nellie that he has been unable to sleep for nights and relies on sleeping pills to find some rest. Despite the passing years, Nellie remains a pillar of support for Paul and his sleep issues, but Paul's restlessness grows, prompting Nellie to inform their doctor about his worsening condition. It becomes evident that the sleeping pills have detrimental side effects. Meanwhile, Marilyn invites Nellie to join her and her boyfriend at the beach, where they also meet Martin. Nellie informs Paul about these outings, but he becomes increasingly uncomfortable with the idea of her spending time with other men. Convinced that he isn't sick, Paul dismisses his concerns as a result of the pills. The once calm man now erupts in anger, venting his frustration at the hotel, alarming the doctor. Upon returning to the hotel, Paul learns from the receptionist, Clotilde, that she hasn't seen Nellie since he left. This revelation deeply disturbs Paul, leading him to investigate. He enters a room where he discovers Nellie and Martin looking at pictures on a projector. Nellie, realizing she forgot about dinner preparations, leaves the room hastily. Paul is consumed by anger and disappointment, choosing to leave without speaking to anyone. As he stands by the riverbank, he hears the voice again, further fueling his suspicion that Nellie is hiding something from him. Unable to ignore his intuition, he returns to the hotel, only to find Nellie there waiting for him. Will Paul confront Nellie about his doubts? What secrets lie beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect marriage? To find out, watch the full episode of this enthralling movie. Stay tuned to Holl Drama Stories for captivating stories that keep you on the edge of your seat. Paul, filled with exhaustion, tried to assure Nellie that he was doing all right, despite his weariness. However, as the days went by, his attention to detail heightened, leading him to question Nellie's honesty. Nellie was oblivious to Paul's growing jealousy and suspicions, instead finding solace in the fact that Paul's possessiveness meant he deeply cared for her. Paul embarked on a quest to uncover evidence to support his doubts, while Nellie dismissed his actions as normal. Nellie expressed her desire to visit her sick mother for a few days, unknowingly setting off Paul's investigation. He began relentlessly tailing Nellie, monitoring her every move. His efforts revealed that Nellie had visited the Marlin store. As she proceeded through the town, passing by a wedding ceremony and the bustling market, the perilous state of their relationship grew clearer to her. Finally, Nellie arrived at Martin's garage, confirming Paul's suspicions. Yet she defied his hopes by not entering. But then, to Paul's dismay, he witnessed Martin approaching Nellie in his car. Desperate to confront them, he pursued them frantically, but they managed to slip through his fingers. Paul decided to seek answers at Nellie's mother's house, where he discovered her presence. Nellie understood that Paul had been following her, yet she chose to remain silent. On the way back to the hotel, Paul's mind was plagued by the idea that Martin and Nellie were colluding. Despite Nellie's plea for him to forget everything, Paul persisted with his inquiries, leaving Nellie disheartened due to his lack of trust. Aware of Paul's aversion towards Martin, she had purposely kept her meetings with Marilyn, a close friend, at a cafe to watch horse races, a secret. When Paul finally learned of this arrangement and went to the cafe, he discovered that Nellie was nowhere to be found. In fact, as she reveled in the joy of the beach, he pursued her relentlessly, finally catching up to her at the spot where her boat had come to a halt. His suspicions were confirmed when he saw Martin in the boat with Nellie. Distraught, he spent the entire day stranded on the beach. Late that night, Paul arrived at the hotel. Disheveled and without uttering a single word to Nellie, he retreated to his room, concerned by his torn clothes. Nellie anxiously informed him that she had been searching for him all day. Paul remained silent, but when Nellie approached him, he accused her of being with Martin. Nellie, consumed by anger, vehemently denied anything more than a desire to rest. She professed her unwavering love for him and lamented his lack of trust throughout their relationship. Realizing his grave error, Paul began to plead for forgiveness. In that moment, Nellie found it in her heart to grant him that forgiveness. However, in the middle of the night, Paul roused her from her slumber, demanding to know the nature of her dreams. Overwhelmed with emotions, Nellie began to weep. In an attempt to help Nellie find solace, Paul whisked her away from the turmoil for a much-needed vacation. During this respite, Nellie temporarily banished her troubles from her mind. Several days later, Paul surprised her with a gift that brought immense joy to her heart. It was on that day that Paul discovered Nellie's promise to never return to the hotel, explaining that she couldn't bear to see him suffer. Outraged, Paul accused her of tarnishing his reputation as a suspicious man, someone who deeply cared about his public image. Nellie, flustered and remorseful, retrieved the gift she had given him in frustration and again sought forgiveness. Paul brushed off the incident, but Nellie's life became a living hell as he continued to obsess over her alleged affair with Martin. Each day it grew worse, burdening her with his incessant doubts. One fateful night, a hotel guest shared a film capturing every person in the hotel. As Paul watched the film, his suspicions resurfaced, pushing him closer to madness. He lost his grip on reality, fixated on the belief that Nellie was deceitfully cheating on him. Nellie's existence turned into a nightmarish ordeal. Her every day was tainted by Paul's unwavering suspicion, causing her immense suffering. He started shouting in front of the guests, and when Nellie tried to stop him, he slapped Nellie in front of everyone. Paul tried to explain to Nellie that his jealousy has increased so much that he has started thinking about dying, and his mind was no longer in his control. But still, Nellie kept trying to explain to him and handle him. Nellie was ready to do everything that Paul wanted just to make him feel better. The situation was getting worse, with Paul only talking about the day when he saw Nellie and Martin together. Nellie got tired of giving her clarification. Even though the guests realized that Nellie's condition was not good, she did not tell anyone that her life has now become hell. One night the hotel lights went off, and Paul's eyes fell on the same room where he had seen Martin and Nellie. This led to a misunderstanding, but Nellie explained that she had only gone inside to give a candle because a guest staying in that room could not get up. Paul found a bracelet in the hotel storage that he had given to Nellie, and his mind convinced him that Nellie was having an affair with every man. He started questioning Nellie, but he found out that he had never given her that bracelet. It was all in his head. Nellie wanted to stay away from Paul, but he continued to accuse her of things she didn't do. When he couldn't find Nellie, he started interrogating a guest and was asked to leave. Paul's misbehavior was upsetting everyone around him. The situation had become unbearable for Nellie, and Paul's behavior was driving her away from him. When he finally saw Nellie, he started shouting at her. Title: A Terrifying Tale of Desperation and Madness. Copy. Join us on a gripping journey into the dark and twisted world of Nellie and Paul. After enduring his increasingly erratic behavior, Nellie found herself trapped in a cycle of fear and abuse. Seeking help, she sought refuge with a trusted doctor, unaware of the horrors that would unfold. Confronted with evidence of Paul's violent actions, the doctor chose not to intervene immediately, hoping to enlighten Nellie about Paul's mental instability. When the truth finally dawned on her, Nellie realized the true danger she was living in. In a shocking turn of events, the doctor revealed to Paul that Nellie was terminally ill, corroborating his suspicions about her behavior. Promising to admit Nellie to the hospital, the doctor cunningly planned to take action against Paul instead. That night, as Nellie anxiously awaited the morning that would bring her salvation, she faced the arduous task of trying to pacify Paul's increasingly unstable mind. Driven by paranoia, Paul even locked her inside a room, with Nellie desperately seeking a way out. Unbeknownst to her, Paul surreptitiously replaced Nellie's pain medication with sleeping pills, leading her into a treacherous slumber. Hindered from contacting the doctor, Nellie found herself trapped once again. Paul's delusions convinced him that Nellie had betrayed him and called for help from the mental hospital. Consumed by his madness, he resorted to restraining her on the bed, his grasp on reality slipping away as he momentarily lost consciousness. Upon awakening, Paul's disturbing behavior took a sinister turn as he awakened Nellie and declared his intention to take her to the hospital. With hope in her eyes, Nellie believed Paul was ready to change, unaware that he harbored a deadly plan. The events that transpired in the bathroom became a macabre manifestation of Paul's shattered psyche, none of it grounded in reality. In his final realization of his descent into madness, it was too late for Paul to salvage any semblance of sanity, their lives forever ruined, and trapped within a prison of their own making. Nellie and Paul were condemned to endure an eternal collective nightmare. Their story has no end, a haunting reminder of the terrors that can unfold behind closed doors. Please like and share this tale of darkness with your friends as we delve into the depths of the human psyche. Stay tuned for more enthralling stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Take care.